Good day. Thank you very much for joining me on this platform. My name is Dr. Charlie, TSBD, the Small Business Doctor. Before we proceed with today's show, why don't we commit just a few seconds to look into the crucial importance of our environment? We prioritize entrepreneurship with sustainability. So please just hang in there, we'll soon be done. Indeed, our environment is of paramount importance. Whatever you do as an entrepreneur in agriculture, mining, construction, transport, retail, trading, wholesaling, or services, we encourage you to practice entrepreneurship with sustainability and pass on this environment in good steps to future generations for better use. That's exactly what we do with all our brands: VCCI, EIZ, SPGZ, SFS, and SPGA. Just marvel at the fluffy clouds on high, the beautiful waterfalls, and of course the still waters, the amazing duck swimming across the land, the cattle and the deer grazing. Above is the beautiful scenic Xmas Pass in Mutare, Manicaland, Zimbabwe. My name is Dr. Charlie. I want to encourage you to avoid cutting trees and polluting our cities, but practice entrepreneurship with sustainability. Thank you for listening and enjoy your show. Hello, greetings. Good day, good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, depending on the time that you are watching this podcast. Welcome to Sahwira Financial Services. My name is Dr. Charlie, TSBD, the Small Business Doctor. Our payoff line as Sahwira Financial Services is driving business growth. Once again, I want to welcome you to this episode. I am excited to take a few minutes of your time and explain what we do as Sahwira Financial Services. From our payoff line, you can see that we are into business growth. Therefore, if you are operating an SME or a large enterprise and what you are confronted with relates to issues of growth, then the two of us indeed can have a fruitful conversation. Three things underlie what we are mostly known for and really interested in. Number one, professionalism. Professionalism. And number two, profitability. Profitability. And number three, growth. Growth. So we are into PPG: professionalism, profitability, growth. Therefore, let me reiterate. If, as you operate your business, you prioritize professionalism, further, you are so much interested in profitability, and third, you are interested in growth, then the two of us indeed can have a fruitful conversation. In other words, when we say we drive business growth, we draw on what we have identified as the 14 or 16 key pillars for growth. 14 to 16 major pillars for growth. And this growth is evidenced through two cardinal points: your professionalism and your profitability. In other words, you are going to leverage on professionalism to enhance your profitability as you grow. Now, let me just get into bits and pieces of some of the key issues that we prioritize as we partner with our clientele organizations to help them drive business growth. The first thing that we do is we are active listeners. We are active listeners. And by this, I mean that before we do anything, before we do anything, we sit around with you and listen. We take a good time of listening. We listen through our ears as you narrate or recount your story or explain your situation. We also listen by way of observing. In other words, we watch and observe. And this includes observing behaviors. This also includes, of course, given your permission, as we review various documents that you have given us, we review so that it helps us to understand and puts two and two together and connect the dots. Once we have a full picture of what is going on, we sit around again and we draw on our expertise over the years and begin to also share with you different alternatives, clearly articulating to you advantages of each strategic option and its disadvantages. The next thing that we are renowned for, we are particular when it comes to fully understand the top management characteristics. Let me repeat, we are very particular in us wanting to fully understand the top management characteristics. This is because the research evidence shows that a business organization, or any organization for that matter, is not far detached from the personal characteristics of the leadership. In other words, a business is by and large a reflection of the top management characteristics in that particular organization. That's why you find that although there are other several factors, for example, the macro environment, the customers, the suppliers, government policies, although there are several factors that do indeed impact on the performance of the business, at the same time, when all is said and done, it boils down to the top management. And by the top management, we then have to again dig deep. We are looking at the top management characteristics, the personal goals, the life goals, the desires, risk tolerance or risk propensity, educational qualifications, the culture, the authenticity in terms of leadership, authentic leadership. So there are many personal characteristics that are involved there. That's why when you remove one top management team and you bring another top management team within the same set of environment and context, you can actually see difference. This goes to show that a business performance is closely related to its top management team. That is the founder and the top leadership. It could be the executive director operations, executive director finance, executive director marketing, executive director human resources. What we are saying is the top leadership have got all it takes to direct their organization or business towards success or towards failure. So, like I said, number one, we are active listeners. And number two, we take a great deal to understand the top management characteristics. Why do we do that? Because regardless of the advice that can be quite credible, that advice can actually go in vain if
we fail to understand the top management characteristics. This is why, in a number of organizations, from my own experience in consulting, you have a very good and wonderful and successful, as it were, strategic planning or workshop. Come up with some nice blueprints, documents. But guess what? Once that is said and done, that blueprint is shelved. That blueprint never see the light of the day. It's not because of the lower line staff or the first line, front line supervisors or the middle managers, but this is something which squarely rests with the top management characters when they fail to ensure that there is a implementation. So it is very, very important. Number one, active listening, and number two, the top management characteristics. The third thing, we then go into our set of these 16 pillars for business growth, of which there are several. You are talking about your strategy, your corporate governance, you are talking about your marketing, your finance function, your operations, your human resources function, your risk, your stakeholder. You're also talking of your environmental impact assessment, and you are talking of your organizational development, continuing to reorganize your business modeling. So, what we are saying is we then go through each one of these, guided, of course, by the narrative or by the experiences that would have shared with us verbally, and that also is coming out from the documents that would have given us, and also from what we will be observing. So all these can actually come together and begin to shade or shape a certain trajectory or a certain trend of this is what is going on. And then we draw on these 16 pillars of business growth to then come up with possible strategic alternatives to take your business forward in terms of growing it. One thing that I must mention as I come to a close is we are never in a rush, and we do not force our customers. We don't come to our customers with a domineering attitude. We don't come there and we say, hey, we are the gurus, you don't know anything. That's not what we do. And we never take the driving seat and say, right, we are now taking the role of the shareholder or of the CEO. That's not what we do. What we do is to come as with wise counsel, with wise advice. And we ensure you remain always in the driving seat. That's why it is very important in the first instance to actually listen from you, to understand exactly where you are coming from, where you are in terms of your business, where you want to go in terms of your business, and the stumbling block or the challenges. And then, given that scenario, we then come up with different strategic options, which, based on our experience, knowledge, and professionalism, will be able to say, look, this is the best way forward. And normally, we do require an active role in the strategic implementation. We have found out that whenever we are also involved in the strategic implementation as change agents, we tend to have the desired results, as opposed to us just advising, informing, we write a report, and we give it to you. Because the challenge then is for you to then use your internal faculty or your internal employees to drive the required change. There are usually a number of challenges, because as employees you have developed strong loyalties amongst each other, and even loyalties amongst your employees and yourself as the shareholder or yourself as the top management. So sometimes, not sometimes, very often, these loyalties are very difficult to break. This is why when you bring in an external person who then comes and serves as an external change agent, they're in a better position to actually drive the strategic change, the strategic turnaround or renewal that is required. It is extremely rare in any strategic business planning setup to avoid any change. Strategic business planning always demands change. And the better you incorporate change deliberately, the much better, as opposed to wanting to react to change. I'm sure I've said quite a lot. So there you are. Whether you are operating a small business, a medium sized enterprise, or a large enterprise, what we are saying, here we are as Sahwira Financial Services. We are at a vantage position to partner with you and help you drive the business growth that you so desire. Why don't you give us a call one of these days so that we can have this conversation? Remember, we prioritize three things: professionalism, profitability, and growth. And from what our experiences, our customers are always excited. Our customers are always grateful. Our customers are always getting the value for money. And we don't have any reason to suggest that when we partner with you is going to be otherwise, because we put our customers first. So thank you very much for watching and for listening. To get in touch with us so that we can carry this conversation forward, our email is sfs@sbgazim.com. sfs@sbgazim.com. And our mobile number there is +263 71 493 4078. +263 71 493 4078. Let me ask you, are you desirous to grow your business? Are you confronting challenges? Please don't struggle alone. Reach out to Sahwira Financial Services and we can help you self-actualize in terms of your business. Thank you very much for watching and listening. My name is Dr. Charlie, TSBD, the Small Business Doctor. Now hold a PhD in management from the Manchester Metropolitan University in the United Kingdom, the University of World-Class Professionals. With that said, let me invite you to please drop some comments. I really value your feedback. Kindly drop some comments and I'll come back to you. May you please like this video, share it with your colleagues, follow us on all our social media handles, and above all, click the subscriber button so that you become the first to get notified each time I release podcasts like this. With that, thank you very much. Dr. Charlie, TSBD, the Small Business Doctor. I sign off. Bye-bye. Thank you very much.